we're gathered here today to do a ceremony, the Tenzin Delek Rinpoche Medal of Courage award ceremony. And we're doing this because Tenzin Delek Rinpoche was a highly regarded community leader and a human rights defender. Tenzin Delek Rinpoche, he died in custody after spending over 13 years in a Chinese prison on false and politicized charges. Here in the Bay Area, we marched to try to save Tenzin Delek's life on a March 10th, and we had several candlelight vigils around Tenzin Delek's imprisonment and ultimately his execution, as well as the execution of his nephews. The Medal of Courage is awarded annually to one or more Tibetan human rights defenders in recognition of their actions to promote Tibetan human rights. So what will happen here today is that I would like to first begin our program with the national anthem, and then I explain a little bit more while we're here. We are also are combining this award ceremony with prayer services for Jigme Gyatso, who was also brutally harassed by the Chinese government and the Chinese Communist Party, and after spending many years in prison, and he died recently, earlier this month, so we'll be doing prayers for him. And then following that, we will give out the award and close. So if I could ask Timpa Jamingla to come here and help us begin by the singing of the Tibetan national anthem. Please. Thank you, Tim Jamila. It was important that we said the Tibetan national anthem here today, because in Tibet they cannot sing this, and as we know, Tibet is one of the most imprisoned countries in the world. So let us take a moment now and spend it in one moment of silence as we remember the hundreds, actually the thousands probably, of the Tibetan political prisoners that are in Tibet today. There are different numbers, whether it's the Congressional Executive Commission of the United States, about how many numbers of political prisoners there are. There's numbers kept by the Tibetan Center for the Human Rights and Democracy, and there's other numbers. The numbers of Tibetan politicals prisoners range up to several thousands. So let us spend time and remember all the thousands of political prisoners in Tibet, as well as all the thousands of Tibetans who have sacrificed for the cause of Tibet since the illegal, brutal occupation of Tibet by the Chinese Communist armies. Thank you. So now I will turn over the program to Lama Lobsangla, a Gyuto monk, to begin the prayers for Jigme Gyatso and for all the Tibetan political prisoners. Thank you. Please. Thank you very much, Lama Lopsalan, for leading our prayers for Jigme Gyatso, and for all the Tibetan political prisoners. Now we will move on to explain a little bit more about the Tenzin Delek Rinpoche Medal of Courage. In the past, we've had previous awards. This is the 7th annual award. In 2016, it was awarded to Yishi Troden. And in 2017, the Tenzin Delek Rinpoche Medal of Courage was awarded to Tashi Wangchuk, a shopkeeper, an advocate for greater Tibetan language, education in schools in Tibet, and he was detained by the Chinese authorities in January of 2016 under the false charge of inciting separatism, and he is currently awaiting trial. And then the International Tibet Network in 2018 awarded this award to our very own Dontuk Wangchen and Golok Jigme. These were Tibetan filmmakers, activists, and they were friends. They were both jailed and tortured for their roles in the making of their film, Leaving Fear Behind. Both men have now escaped Tibet and are based in free societies. We are very honored that Dontuk Wangchen is here today as one of our previous award recipients. Moving on, the award was also given to Gedun Chukyinima, the 11th Panchen Lama of Tibet. He was kidnapped in 1995 when he was only 6 years old because His Holiness the Dalai Lama of Tibet exercised his own religious and historical authority to recognize the Panchen Lama. And for that, the Chinese communists that deemed the Dalai Lama as an enemy kidnapped the Panchen Lama and his family, and he hasn't been seen ever since. So now, let's move on to the 2022 nominations. Rinchen Ki. Rinchen Ki was arbitrarily detained in 2021 after the forced closure of the local school where she was taught. She was later charged with inciting separatism despite not having committed any crime. She was released in April of 2022. Anya Sengdra is a popular Tibetan community leader, an environmentalist, and anti-corruption activist. He is currently serving a 7-year prison sentence after being tried on false charges of gathering people to disturb the public order. Anya was beaten by Chinese security officers and has been held for over 14 months without trial. Another nominee is Bangdri Samchol Rinpoche. Sentenced to 19 years in prison, he was arrested in 1999 after receiving charitable funding from overseas. He was sentenced to death, commuted to life, and then to 18 years. He was due for release in July of 2021, but we haven't heard from him ever since, or about his whereabouts or his well-being. And finally, Tenzin Yima was also one of the 2022 nominees. He died in 2019 from injuries inflicted on him by Chinese authorities. He was arrested alongside 4 other young Tibetans, monks, after they staged a peaceful demonstration outside the local police station in which they threw leaflets into the air calling for Tibet's independence. We would like to honor all of the nominations for 2022 for their continued resistance and for what they have done. The 2022 Medal of Courage Award will go to, and before we announce that, we would ask Dontuk Wangchen to please come up to receive this award, as not only, please give him a round of applause as being a previous award winner, and for his courage, leaving fear behind, But also, if you can come over here in front, if you come in front. And the award will go to Anya Sengdra. So to receive this award, I would like to ask the President of the Tibetan Association of Northern California to please help join me, and also Tibetan Youth Congress of San Francisco in handing this award. Can you please come here and receive this award, Donju? And he's receiving it on behalf of Anyam Sengja. And then we'll ask you to say a few words about Anyam Sengja, and also your son will help translate.
아니 정말 아니 다 니실라 주지 아닌데 배우와 내 나도 참아라 잔주다시도 사이 일단은 이제 그 주신게 여기 다 문화 참아라 되지 셔요 세기 뜻대로 아니 다 그 단스들로 rinpoche 아니 그런 다 잔나도 종하는 아니 너저 체매 받다니다 아니 종이 시다 로든 거인이 우리 아니 그런 게 있다 창이 토니 아니 아주 다 제수 동바 뭐 지간도시 샤간도 만약에 아니 다들 그런 지점다 단어진이다 지금 제스토가 아니 지금 가지도 쓰는 대니 논의진도 시작가 배야겠다는 얘기 수지 두샤.
Firstly, I would like to thank everyone for coming today. So today is a day of remembrance for Tenzin Delek Rinpoche, who passed away 7 years ago, and we have since initiated this day as a remembrance to honor people who continue his work, and today I'm here for that.
아니 뜻하고 있던 스타니기 아니 다 아냐 상자란도시 도시 남기도 아니 가로에 나다 아냐 상자기 제치니 아니 다 상태지 지라서 제스니 아니 가서 기내다도시 지 디지네는 도시 용바니 아니 다른 중에 땅에 아냐 상자기 제치니 아니 다 지친들 제치 보통 되게 아니 추가되라 아니 대치시아이 아니 이 패버치가 프로이나달라 동하나니 회와리.
Today I'm on behalf of Anya Santra to receive this year's award to him, and
아니 다냐 상자기 아니 그 루준 누드지 못지 아냐 상자이나 다 지사티 보긴 두메 아니 고로 사자리 아니 그런 단단한 뭔가 중같이 배샤 딱 그런 토마 딱 그런 동하나 지 다리 주고 말이 아니 그런 타마니스는 도시 돈주지샤 아니 그런 주디다 자너의 시진신다 선질레바니도 아니 그런 딱 고자르송스니 고자르송데 주다 그런 주지 수투지 살아든지 뭐 무치게리 공다 가브라나든지 뭐 무체적지 걸 단어지 버리기고 딱 그러이나 딱 그것도 아니 보기 사자다 자너 중이나다 보기 사자다 배제 뭐 후당니다 야지 수지 던 거여서 버리다 운이기 아니 보기는 기다 강에 뭐 무치단 도시 거기 등도지 단어지 고자르송요 아니 보기 거리란 도시 돈 세치 못 거요 다는 신다 저던 거고 아니 딜라스 받다 그런 지구 말이 그런 게 무치니 아니 산이게 뭐 무치기다 자는 좋아나 수트자야 아니 지금 강시 응야티도 고도제라서 같은데게 링크라다는 바비 아니 그런 일도 주실란 조치니 아니 루치다 나왔으나 좀 주지샤 다는 신이 또 제라 니또 조제고다 니또 조제다 아니 그런 도시 있던 조치니 아니 루드나 도시 도다제샤.
Today I would like to just briefly tell about him and his work. So he was not only in prison one time, but he was in prison twice before. His work mostly involved in anti-corruption, environment protection, and wildlife preservation. When Xi Jinping first came to power, there was a huge campaign for anti-corruption. They even set up local office for reporting of corruption, and a lot of community members in Tibet, including him, have petitioned and tried to report it, but because of those charges, he was being arrested, tortured, and being sentenced to prison.
그런 나오이나 다 젠다 동바다 말게 하리비다 도노 식시 우지요 보시는 니가 존이 다나지 제시기다 존데 많이 봤던 존다 존데다 존데 많이 봐 초파 몽고지기 아니 로노지야 제도지야 다나지 다 산이기 아니 뭐뭐이나 다나지기다 디그나 슈트지야 고라니 니모메와 아니 디제기다 로노 식시 우지자 다 단다이나 그러이나 다 종강하니 다 모두들 가리냐다 냐지바 다나지 종강하니 루카시 대야 주고 말이 종강나 존지비 니모니조 아니 그런다 뭐니 추치는 지기다 니가 구야다 아니 이동다야 다 너전 자면나 추거보니 다 미몽군도 시종 루고요리 다 아주 하고가리 하마고 몽고요리 다 그나 그쇼다 나름 공부하기 쿠션 다 지미지 않다고나 단어전 정강하는 시도하는 루카시 루시 종요리 다 아주 기타 제수종 몽고지도 있다 정도 정강하는 좀 세미봤다 단어전 시도가 내가 있나이다 론디 주송에 저가메바 아니 단자 수치고 딱 며칠지라도 강에 되고요 봐 단어전 단다게 되는지 링기디가 또 제수종만 수이면은 맞디바 문이기 정확하게 휴친보경에 디주경나 아니 도너지야다 링기비야데 하진 게친보리 또 디주기 딱 용타에 정바 먹고 지수 절대 보여 딱 알아나 정상한 내용 중에 미치게 아니 들어대라 아니 또 먹고 집당하고 아니 또 대신 그런 거 맞으면 아니 그런 거한테 붙이 좀 해라 아니 대치제
Yeah, so to wrap it up, I would like to say that a lot of political prisoners, including many of the recipients, are not just only serving their sentence done, but they're also, once they enter the prison, their lives totally being changed. And many of them suffer tremendous torture, and many of them don't even come out. And we have to continue campaign and always remember their work, and by petitioning outside we can save their lives and save them.
We have a picture of him on the wall behind me. Now, Tenzin Delek Rinpoche's niece, Nyimo Hwamo, has something to say for today. And I would like to ask Lobsang Chodron to come up here and read what she has said.
I'm honored to see Anyang Sendra receive the Tenzin Delek Medal of Courage for his work as an environment activist. My late uncle would have been very proud of his work, as he himself worked hard to protect the environment and end the Chinese failed policies. We are very proud of this award in my uncle's name, and that his sacrifice can be used to support the other great Tibetan human rights defender. Thank you all so much for the continued support and the remembrance of my uncle Tenzin Delek Rinpoche and his work and sacrifice. Thank you, International Tibet Network, for continuing to shine a light on brave Tibetans who continue to resist Chinese occupation of Tibet. Together, we highlight the important action. Thank you.
Thank you, Lobsang. So this concludes today's ceremony for Tenzin Delek Rinpoche's Medal of Courage. I want to thank everyone, the Tibetan Association of Northern California, for hosting us here today. Thank you for letting us use your space. And to the rest of the San Francisco Team Tibet member organizations, the San Francisco Regional Tibet Youth Congress, and the Lama Lobsang from the Gyuto monks, and then also the International Tibet Network. Thanks you as well, representing over 250 organizations around the world. Free Tibet. Thank you.